The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with Benny Mac.
Acknowledge me!
Unfiltered.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
Uncensored.
This kid is an absolute piece of... Watch your mouth, Michael Cole!
And unforgiving.
He's on the line. We get that. But you listen to me, and you listen to me good, Mr. Midlife Crisis.
Here's the man in the corner, Benny Mac.
It is the 17th of June 2024. Monday Night Raw is not that long away. So much stuff to be going on Raw tonight after Clash of the Castle. The much anticipated Uncle Howdy, Wyatt Six stable group, whoever that is going to entail. So much going on in the world of wrestling. Thank you for following us, SJP Raw Media. You can follow this show at In the Corner, WWE on X as well. Hope you are having a good Monday, whatever you are doing. I'm very excited for Raw tonight, and we'll be talking some Raw on Wednesday. And, we'll be talking about all the news and the fallout and everything that goes on that particular broadcast tonight. But we got some stuff to talk about today. To be fair, we got some TNA stuff to talk about, which we don't normally do on this show. At least not by myself, anyway. Normally have Tyler cover that for me because I tend to watch the main roster stuff. But there's so much going on. This relationship, official, unofficial, with WWE kind of stuff. There seems to be a lot more free. I literally just read a rumor just before I came on. AJ Styles apparently will be making an appearance in Japan fairly soon as well. So WWE letting their wrestlers go out and do some other promotions is what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. But yeah, I want to go to TNA quickly as we move along here. Now, I've been watching TNA on and off, especially a bit more lately as well. So, with all these people allegedly coming to WWE or maybe coming into one-on-one matches, which we have seen with the TNA Women's Knockouts Champion. But one of the things that came from this past weekend is the fact that Jeff Hardy, whose contract is actually up with AEW by the looks of it, and apparently on the midnight of the day of Against All Odds, made an appearance to help his brother Matt, who had had a title match against Moose and the System. Unfortunately, Matt Hardy did not capture the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but Jeff Hardy came out to help his brother, which was very interesting. Obviously, we all know about Jeff's history, not just with TNA, with several of the promotions. WWE, he walked out, and hoping his demons, his problems are sorted. But what I found interesting was that Matt and Jeff are not actually under contract with TNA. They've actually just done like an agreement to do certain matches and certain shows, I guess. Really interesting going forward, that I tell you. There's so much talent over there in TNA that we're seeing, even for somebody like myself who doesn't necessarily watch it every week to week, there are certain names, aren't there, that always... AJ Styles was one of them back in the day that floated to the surface, so to speak. So, Joe Hendry, obviously. There was a lot of speculation about Joe Hendry being at Clash of the Castle this past weekend. That didn't happen. I'm hoping at some point we see Joe Hendry make an appearance, maybe in NXT, and work on that character that he's got. And fair play to him, top 5, I think, top 4 in the UK with his entrance theme. That never happens, does it? Let's face it. At least with a wrestling theme. But yeah, just Jeff. Yeah, so I'm interested going forward on what Jeff and Matt will possibly do with TNA. Will we see them in WWE anytime soon? Maybe NXT, or who knows? And that's what's quite good at the moment. We got all these. We got TNA kind of making a resurgence. We got AEW, which there's its fan base. I'm not going to knock it. I don't watch it enough to know. I mean, you hear the stuff that's allegedly going on backstage and all this other stuff in houses being not full. But whether that's true, or whether that's these things are being filmed after the main show to make it look like AEW hasn't got a full house, who knows? I don't know. If you go to an AEW show, let me know at In the Corner WWE on X, and let me know, because it's hard to know, because you could quite easily go into an arena and film an empty arena and make out that the show's going on, but there's nobody there. So hopefully they are doing well, because at the end of the day, the more wrestling companies that do well and have one is more trade and more people for opportunities for people to apply their trade, and the wrestlers from all over the world. So, but yeah, there we go on that one. Going forward, like I said, we'll be back Wednesday for the Raw sort of thoughts and stuff, post show, and aiming to do a few more shows with a few other people. Because I'm free at the moment, I'm just going to knock. I mean, this is I haven't announced this. I'm just going to do a show today here on SGP Raw Media. There's stuff going on. There's always stuff going on. It's just having the time to sit down and to record. At the moment, I've got the time, so that's what I'm doing. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the love being shared on X for the first show back, which was released as I sit here recording yesterday, and I appreciate it. We're going to go to update on Damian Priest now. Anyway, Damian Priest. I mentioned it on yesterday's show, but obviously he went over the top rope, didn't he? Got his leg caught in the top rope, which was horrific. I think I've already said it on the show, but I was hoping that he didn't hit his head or anything like that. It turns out it's not as bad as it seems. He has a bit of a knock, shall we say, with his knee. It's a slight knee injury. Although it had been he had a noticeable limp, and he actually spoke about it on the post show, which I hadn't watched until literally this morning. But the early word coming out of it is that he's fine, and was just most effectively selling it during the match, which again, like I said yesterday, I thought he did a really good job, and I'm just glad that everybody's okay. There's so much. We'll get into it on Wednesday probably. If I get a chance, I might even do a show tomorrow on it. But the CM Punk McIntyre feud, an all-time high. That's one thing I'm looking forward to tonight. We better see something. We're going to see at least Drew McIntyre, I would assume, on Raw. Apparently, based on what CM Punk said at the post show of the media scrum thing they do, CM Punk's making out that he will be on SmackDown this week, which is weird because he's a Raw superstar. So I hope they're not breaking those rules already of exclusively to this show, because it seems like they are. Unless it will just be if it's an interview, and I don't mean backstage, there's an interview with Michael Cole and they show it on SmackDown that CM Punk is medically cleared now and next week on Raw he'll be there. Do you know what? I'll be fine with that. But if he's going to actually be on SmackDown, what was the point in I know we've got the new titles and stuff, I get that. I harp on about this loads on this show in the past, but if you're a Raw person or a SmackDown person or an NXT person or TNA or whatever, in terms of, maybe not TNA is a bad example, but within the WWE, if you're an NXT person, yeah, that's kind of the that's the show you come from to come to the main roster. But Raw and SmackDown, if they spent all this time doing this draft, but if CM Punk's going to be on SmackDown, what was the point really? He's not a free agent. He was picked in the draft. I think second or third. Maybe I think was he in the first round? I can't remember. It's been a while. Either way, he was picked for Raw. So. And I know he's not active, so maybe you can get away with the technicality there. He's not active. As long as they don't make a habit of this, that's fine. Because if you're going to be on, like I said, I'm harping on about it, obviously. I'm annoyed, as you can tell. If you're going to be drafted to a show, that's the show you should be dropping your exclusive interview on to say I'm coming back next week or whatever. But yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I can't wait for that. I've already speculated. I don't know whether Drew McIntyre is going to try and win Money in the Bank. It would actually be more, if CM Punk's coming back, maybe Punk is in Money in the Bank. Maybe Drew comes out and costs him Money in the Bank. So now we've had Drew cost CM Punk something, so we have that match at possibly SummerSlam, which again, I think that's a great idea personally. Like, it's great. Whatever happens between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, the War of the Words has been great, which I've already said on yesterday's show. But by all accounts, Damian Priest is all right. We might see him on Raw tonight, but I think it'd probably be more in a supportive role, just to make sure that we'll find out, won't we? I guess. But hopefully, all is good. It just doesn't seem as bad as it was. And fair play to him for finishing the match, which actually was a really good match, despite the fact CM Punk came out as a special referee, essentially, and cost Drew McIntyre the title. Good match all around. Now, some of you may have noticed during Clash of the Castle, I'm sure you have, some of you have probably been watching it, the QR codes appearing on the screens, leading to some of these really creepy videos in some cases. One of which, the worst one, was actually the Twitch one with the psychologist talking to, I assume, Bo Dallas. And then not long after, she disappeared, and they did a thing where people were tweeting saying, well, where's she gone? Is she okay? And then she appeared on screen saying, I'm fine. But then looked at the camera. I don't know if you've seen this, but she looked at the camera, whoever this is, and just stared at the camera. And it looked like it would have been paused at first, but no, she just spent a long time staring at the camera like there was some sort of mind control. Now, apparently, according to the rumours, this Uncle Howdy Wyatt 6 group is not going to be supernatural. I think it's going to go back to more like what it was with Bray Wyatt back in the day, based on what I'm reading. And what people are speculating, that it's going to be more of a case of sort of a cult type following rather than a supernatural, which, do you know what, I'm aboard with. That's fine. According to the timer of the last QR code, which I will, I did have it on my, I'll try and put it in the link below. It has a countdown timer. And just before I went on, I'm going to bring up my phone now because I've got it on my phone quickly. It's got 10 hours and 55 minutes. Obviously, by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be probably a couple of hours adjacent. But around 1 a.m. UK time, something's going to happen on Raw. We've got now, is it going to be the final reveal? The graphic says you refuse salvation, the reckoning is inevitable. Allegedly, so obviously Bo Dallas being one of them. Now, I assume, or I'm under the assumption that he's going to come back as Uncle Howdy. Or maybe he won't, I don't know. But that's one of the things. There was also talk about Mercy the Buzzard and Huskus Pig and White Rabbit and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of speculation that Alexa Bliss will be in this group. Eric Rowan has re-signed with WWE, who was in the original trio of the Wyatt family, along with Luke Harper. But it seems like the group or whatever is going to make their debut tonight on Raw. So not only do we have all the fallout from Clash of the Castle, we've got this big moment that is allegedly going to happen tonight on Raw. And I hope it does, because I am so excited for that. And I'm hoping I could sit here and go, yeah, I think it's going to be this, I think it's going to be this. I don't really know. I assume it's going to be some sort of cult. I thought supernatural, but apparently that's not. Follow on from The Fiend to a degree. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait for Raw tonight. It looks like it could be a very good Raw. I mean, WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania this year was not overly ruckus like it has been in the past. This Clash of the Castle was good, and then I'm hoping Raw's going to be. It's set up so many stories, and SmackDown this week. I think I said on yesterday's show that Randy Orton was staring at that WWE title on Cody's arm. Could that be SummerSlam? Who knows? A lot of speculation about Roman coming back at SummerSlam as well. But that may be beforehand. We're going to have to find. There's so much going on. And so many stories being told, and little nuggets here and there that you can see. And I tell you what, I've said it before, I think, but when we're watching backstage stuff now, it doesn't feel irrelevant at the moment like it used to. Maybe 4 years ago, 5 years, maybe not 4 years ago as much because pandemic, but let's say 2018, 2019-ish. The backstage stuff felt like it was filler. I'm not saying it doesn't feel like filler sometimes now, but generally it doesn't, because you've got all these people walking around backstage, or you saw an argument in the ring and it's carried on behind the interview to fill out this universe, no pun intended. So I'm very excited about what's up coming up. I forgot, the Money in the Bank qualifier matches start tonight as well, so we can see... I assume we're going to have one male and one female one, so maybe 3 or 4 from each brand competing for the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm assuming we're not going to have... Well, they might change that this year. Because didn't they used to do that, where they used to have a Raw Money in the Bank winner and a SmackDown Money in the Bank winner? But it's also quite a nice little thing for brands to brag about, that my person from SmackDown or my person from Raw became Money in the Bank. That does and if you do it with one, as in a men's and a women's, instead of one for Raw, men and women's on Raw, men and women on SmackDown, that cash in, you could have somebody potentially go from SmackDown to Raw to cash in, or vice versa, because the contract states, and it always has done, that you can cash in on any champion, and that means they could go to NXT. Doesn't mean, that's few and far between. Most of the time you would go for the Heavyweight Championship. There we go. I'm just excited about Raw tonight, as you can probably tell. We're going to be back on Wednesday, or I'll be back on Wednesday to talk some Raw. Hopefully more information. Obviously, hopefully whatever this Uncle Howdy Wyatt 6 group is going to be, I hope is going to be, I hope it's going to be freaking awesome, to be honest with you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. I know it's only a quick one. We are going to be back for a lot more. I'm hoping to get some guests on. If you want to be a guest on In the Corner, DM me on X at In the Corner WWE. I hope you like the new intro. I hope you like the new music as well. And I shall see you on Wednesday for some more In the Corner. I'm Benny Mac. This is SJP Raw Media. We'll see you again very soon.